Smoking, drug use is harmful to health. All characters in this story are fictional. ColdTuber's only purpose is to entertain the audience. Coincidence of any character with the plot of story is purely coincidental.
That morning, when Tony was looking for her way, Tony opened all the buttons on his chest and took a deep breath in despair again. Tony can talk. Can Tony give happy? All of a sudden she came through all this. Tony did not ever notice her when Tony saw Happy and she left. In this way, the words took the form of words. And Tony's pain remained in one corner of his mind. That day was spring morning. Waiting for her like every day. But all of a sudden when she comes from behind and say,
"What do you want me to say now?"
Quite an environment all around, where no one is. God gave the opportunity with his own hands. But Tony said,
"I would say it later,"
with the excuse of no service and bless. No more talking. The day went on like this. It was not said, it is not just. Tony loves her. That day was a computer session. Everyone went to the computer lab. Only Tony and Mem remained. Today has decided to give the 2 roses he had bought earlier to Happy. For this Tony and Mem decided to enter the lab later. It works like that. Everyone went to the lab one by one. Tony and Mem stayed in the room waiting for the opportunity. As soon as the room was empty, Tony left 2 roses on Happy's desk. Tony went to the lab 15 minutes late. Teacher got very angry and said,
"Where have you been so far?"
When they saw the scale rising in teacher's hand, Tony looked at Mem, as if he was begging Tony Mem with his tongue. Tony said.
I am sorry, brother, you may be beaten for me today.
But surprisingly, Min's vision was hard to dismiss, as if to say,
Hey, what's the matter?
whose friendship that day seemed to be for each other. Two of them joined the session, after enduring the beating of teacher's scale. Tony stared at Happy. Tony Mayor's words and pain were forgotten in the blink of an eye. It goes without saying that Tony does not pay much attention to the session. He is floating in the current of imagination. I know what happens. Suddenly the bell rang. Before everyone else, Tony ran out of the session and came into the classroom. He took the bag and sat at the back desk. Tony was gasping for breath. After a while, teacher entered the room with all the shadows. Everyone knew who could give the rose. But Irsa settled down, and took Happy's friend Annie Rose to teacher's side in spite of Happy. Teacher said,
Who gave the rose to the Happy's desk? Who, and what?
No one said anything to answer the three questions at once. Happy turned his head once and looked at Tony as if she was sure he had the two rows. The language in Happy's eyes that day seemed like love to Tony. But Tony can understand that it was Tony's misconception. If there was no love, then what is the meaning of that laughter? What does that look mean? Unable to understand the meaning of the day, Tony picked up one of the two roses from the dustbin and left it in his diary as a Happy's memory. But where is the other rose? It was not found in the dustbin. Then who took the rose?